I never would have imagined that I'd actually transmigrated into a female-oriented novel. I thought with my status as a duke's only son, I could conquer this future ice queen, recruit some magic prodigies, and reach the pinnacle of life. But I suddenly realized this was a female-oriented wish fulfillment novel featuring an female protagonist's comeback. The heroine enjoyed plot armor, while I was just a minor villain destined to die early in the plot. Not only was I a magicless failure, but my most trusted subordinate betrayed me out of twisted love at the critical moment, landing me in prison, where I ultimately died with bitter resentment. Yet when I opened my eyes again, I discovered I'd been reborn, and the genius sorceress who should have killed me instead pinned me down and kissed me. Originally, I was a big rig truck driver who swerved to avoid a little girl saving a cat in the road, crashed into a wall, and died, only to transmigrate into a fantasy world resembling Teyvat continent. Assuming this was just a dying fantasy of a lifelong couch potato, I immediately grabbed a dagger to test it. With just a light cut, blood started gushing out. This intense pain confirmed it was real transmigration. Then a flood of memories rushed into my mind. The original owner shared my name, also called Moon Campbell, born with a diamond-studded spoon as top-tier nobility, and also a Yankee who is the third princess of the empire. But the original owner was sentenced to exile for desecrating royalty, banned forever from stepping foot within the empire's borders. Never imagined my luck would be this terrible. To have transmigrated into this idiotic wastrel's body, just as I was at my wit's end. Sudden knocking echoed at the door. A dignified and elegant maid entered. She was the manor lord's personal maid and confidant. Among the many schemes against the protagonist, quite a few were masterminded by this woman named Anne. Since I was to attend tomorrow's bank tea, mother specifically sent her to deliver the formal attire. I dismissed her with a casual remark, intending to send Anne away first. Yet, she suddenly inquired with concern, "Young master, you're injured." So I asked Anne to get me some medicine to stop the bleeding. Or a band-aid. And didn't know what a band-aid was. But she could help stop the bleeding. As she spoke, she'd already crouched down. I thought Anne knew healing magic. Instead, she started licking my injured index finger. This move instantly turned me bright red. Then Anne very thoughtfully informed me the bleeding had stopped. "Every drop of the young master's blood is precious. Please try not to injure yourself," I responded as calmly as possible. "All right, I'll remember that. Thank you for your hard work." But after Anne obediently left the room, I suddenly realized something was off. Did the young master just thank me? Meanwhile, my heart was racing inside. That's just too unfair. The gentle black-haired maid is so adorable. Though I couldn't understand why a perfectly fine duke's son had to go provoking the protagonist. The actual trigger that got the original owner exiled was this idiot drugging the empire's third princess at his own coming-of-age ceremony. Now that I knew the critical issue, as long as I avoided provoking the protagonist, I still had a chance to change my fate. I could just be a wealthy, spoiled young master. But then it hit me. What Anne just delivered was my coming-of-age ceremony outfit for tomorrow. The moment this thought came, I instantly turned to stone. Quickly list all known hack-assisted support characters. I called out once. "System, are you there? Grandpa, Goddess Sama, Cupid." Receiving not even a sliver of response, I burst into tears. Could it be I really have no cheats at all? It's not like I just pulled 10 golds and 10 draws in my past life. No need to treat me like this. Who knows if apologizing to the protagonist in person tomorrow will clear the air between us. He probably won't make any outrageous demands, right? Having to lick her feet in public to earn forgiveness, but a real man knows when to yield and when to stand firm. This kind of humiliation, I'll bear it alone. I clenched my fist. This settles it, then. Suddenly, something came flying out of nowhere. and smacked the back of my head. What the hell? Hurts so damn much. It cracked this young master's head open. I cursed under my breath twice, only to discover what hit me was a book. My eyes lit up instantly. Could my golden finger have finally activated? I nearly wept tears of excitement. But upon opening this book, I grew utterly perplexed. Are you kidding me? How is this some blank celestial tome? Or does it need some special activation method? Given this journey to the West-style world setting, don't tell me it requires a blood pact? Just as this thought crossed my mind, a drop of crimson blood suddenly fell from my forehead, landing precisely at the book's center. Instantly, like a beast roused by blood scent, the book began flipping violently. A terrifying suction force erupted from its pages. My blood instantly gushed like a fountain from the wound on my head, continuously pouring into the tome. Before I could even process this life-threatening spectacle, everything went black before my eyes. Consciousness slipped away. When my eyes opened again, a girl with an unnerving expression stood before me. I've waited so long for you. You're finally awake. I carved 520 wounds into your body. Hearing this, I froze dumbfounded, realizing this girl had chained me up. Bone-deep agony suddenly flooded my entire being. You have no idea how my heart aches at this very moment. How utterly evil, brutal and selfish you are. You should bring others pain instead of forgiveness. You should make everyone hate you. Only then can you belong to me alone. But you've changed your heart. That won't do. The girl's eyes overflow with boundless love and hatred. However long it takes, I'll purify you completely. With my love, again and again. We'll be together forever. Not even death can part us. As I faced being sliced 1,000 times, I turned deathly pale with terror. No, the next instant, I was back in reality, drenched in sweat, as if I'd just escaped from an endless hell. Could it be this was only a dream? Yet the pain on my skin still lingered. Could this be some kind of prophetic dream? If it were real, that tragic ending, was it again caused by something I did wrong? And you're seriously so perverted. When I looked down at that book again, I froze in shock on the spot. For crimson characters had appeared on its title page. Do not change. For fate's sake. Suddenly, the book dissolved into black-purple mist and seeped into my body. Seems it was warning me not to alter the original plot, or that ending would become inevitable. So in the end, all my hopes were just illusions. To survive, I'd have to willingly walk toward destruction. Actually, upon reflection, the novel's original ending wasn't that bad. Just becoming a beggar, that's all. But I'm different. I've endured modern society's 996 grind. A battle-hardened corporate warrior. Anyway, the book never specified what happened to the original character later. After being exiled, with modern wisdom, couldn't I just start fresh in another country? At this thought, hope reignited in my eyes. This so-called noble status wasn't worth clinging to anyway. Merely a privileged class, built on exploiting the working masses. As a true-blooded socialist proletarian, this warrior can still thrive in another world, relying solely on these hands and knowledge. 10 minutes later, I cursed the aristocratic list inwardly while extreme levels of luxury and decadence, gracefully savoring tonight's dinner. I swear, I've never tasted steak this delicious in my entire life. Enticing aroma filled the air. It melted in my mouth. What's going on? Little Moon seems exceptionally cheerful today. Duchess, Noth asked with a smile. Haha. She must be looking forward to tomorrow's coming-of-age banquet. After all, that's one of the most significant banquets in Moon's lifetime. The speaker was Imperial Duke Longen. I responded with my signature radiant smile. Yes, Lord Father, Lady Mother. I'm indeed looking forward to it for this reason. The Duke and Duchess of Campbell have only me as their son. Naturally, they dote on me excessively. Tomorrow, my son, will undoubtedly be the center of attention at the banquet. Who knows how many noble girls he'll charm? The gentle and virtuous Noah said, with eager anticipation. That won't do at all. Our moon has a fiancé. If Princess Alicia sees this and gets jealous, it'll be hard to explain. The usually serious Longen couldn't resist teasing. Noah snorted lightly. I don't like that Princess Alicia one bit. Ice cold. Completely unworthy of our little moon. Now, that's not fair to say. If even Princess Alicia isn't good enough, then who possibly could be? Watching these two doting parents fuss over me. Even someone as thick-skinned as me felt slightly embarrassed. Just how overconfident are you about your son? That's the Empire's third princess, the divinely blessed child of pure white, also known as the Ice Witch, a top contender for the Empire's most beautiful woman. In the original story, her aloof aura, combined with her icy exterior, yet warm interior, won her an enormous fanbase. Wherever she goes, all eyes are on her. What worthless trash is your son compared to that? Don't you have any self-awareness? In the original work, both of you were good people, but unfortunately got implicated because of your son, forced to fade from the Empire's upper-class inner circle. Though that book says, I can't defy the established fate. But with this hellish beginning, even with modern thinking, turning things around seems nearly impossible. After bidding farewell to my parents, I prepared to head out. I needed to find some way to take action. That book said I couldn't change my own fate. It never said I couldn't change others. Looking at the entire incident, targeting the princess wasn't the real cause. So, without altering the final outcome, I must pull the Campbell family out of this entire affair, as insurance for survival after exile. Additionally, I need a scapegoat behind the scenes to take the fall. Speaking of taking the fall, in this fantastical world setting, no place seems more suitable than that one. Based on the original host's memories, I'd already formulated the next steps of the plan. Just then, a woman happened to round the corner and collided squarely with me. Oh no, the master and madam's black tea spilled. I apologized and asked if she was hurt, but recognizing me, the maid's expression instantly turned terrified. I'm sorry, Master Moon. Panicking, she pulled out a handkerchief trying to wipe me clean, yet the tea stain only spread more visibly. Terrified, the maid actually knelt on the ground, begging for mercy. Please spare me, Master Moon. I truly didn't mean it. Please don't beat me. And don't strip me naked and throw me into the streets. Facing the maid trembling like a sieve, I was momentarily speechless. Just how terrible must this garden owner's reputation be in others' eyes? I bent down and helped the maid up. I won't punish you for such a minor issue. By the way, why is your body so hot? Under the maid's astonished gaze, I used the modern touch temperature check method and discovered she was running a fever. Since tomorrow is my coming-of-age ceremony banquet, the mansion is short-staffed, and she couldn't take leave. Just as I scolded her for not working while ill and approached respectfully, I ordered her to arrange rest for Noel and to recruit temporary replacements from outside for all unwell servants, simply because I didn't want tomorrow's ceremony filled with dazed, sickly staff, causing trouble for the guests. Watching my retreating figure, Noel felt the young master seemed like a different person today. Miss N. Didn't the young master previously refuse outside hires? Wasn't that so? But N merely instructed Noel to obey orders and rest immediately, for she too sensed subtle changes and decided to advance her own plans. Meanwhile, I rummaged through the treasure chest in my room and finally found the underground black market top-tier VIP pass. After leaving the Duke's mansion, I boarded the carriage, arrived at a certain luxury store the protagonist often frequented. After ordering the accompanying guards to stand watch at the shop entrance, I stealthily slipped away through the back door, following the route etched in my memory. It lay beyond the city's outer wall, deep within Bellin City's sewers. Masked and clad in a black robe, I moved swiftly through the passage. At the pipe's end, a figure in black stood guard. Who approaches? Sewer rats. State your purpose. Seeking rotten meat. After exchanging the code phrases, I revealed the black token in my hand. The black-clad figure instantly became respectful. Esteemed guest, enter. Beyond this door lies the Leopold Underground Black Market. Within, you may trade alchemical reagents and magical hybrid beasts. There were even slaves of the Maya people. One of the protagonist's later teammates was bought from here. But I should attend to the main task first. After entering a shop with an eerie atmosphere, the shopkeeper wore a mask, dressed in voluminous crimson robes, with a voice magically distorted, indiscernibly genderless. We finally have a guest today. Do come in, young master. What might you be looking for? Though our shop is small, we lack for nothing. I cut straight to the chase. I need a colorless, odorless drug, something that can knock a mage out cold. For several hours, the shopkeeper made an okay gesture. Understood? You wealthy types do enjoy these games, don't you? I happen to know several reputable slave traders. Need recommendations? Just a small referral fee. Thinking they didn't have it, I turned to leave. The shopkeeper hastily called out, "Of course, we do. Please wait, young master. This treasure is a rare find." They began rummaging through jars and bottles. Though their face was fully masked, their tone, demeanor, and flawless figure suggested, undoubtedly a stunner. To hold ground in this den of scoundrels, their methods must be formidable. If I could get on their good side, it might help me when the Empire exiles me later. Suddenly, the wind chime above, the shop door jingled again. A rather petite figure, cloaked in black, entered from outside. I need sleeping draughts, the kind that leaves no magical traces afterward. The shopkeeper looked puzzled upon hearing this. Strange how another customer seeks this type of potion, when normally no one asks for it. My gaze drifted imperceptibly over the black robe beside me. Judging by her figure and the perfume she wore, I hadn't expected women to have such needs too. Probably planning to harm someone. But now I'm in the same boat as her. Who am I to judge? Before long, the shopkeeper eagerly placed 2 exquisite vials on the counter. When I saw the dark red crystalline liquid swirling inside one, I was stunned. Noticing our confusion, the shopkeeper patiently explained, "No need to worry mixed into wine or other drinks. It's completely undetectable. Just one tiny drop could knock out an elephant instantly. Unconscious for 3 hours. My eyes lit up. That potent? We can test it right here if you doubt it. The shopkeeper boasted, specially crafted sleeping draft, Southern Wall Slumber. Priced at 130,000 a meal. Will you be paying by card or cash? A meal being this world's common currency. Just as I was about to swipe my card, the cloaked woman stated. She didn't intend to use a meal's revenge, but rather to sell the shopkeeper a piece of intelligence in exchange. Then she produced a slip of paper. This intel is absolutely worth 130,000. In fact, for those who need it, its value multiplies several times over. The shopkeeper curiously took the paper to examine. Interesting. Its authenticity could be verified easily with her abilities, so she agreed to trade with the cloaked woman. Without another word, the cloaked woman took the magic potion and left. Cold and efficient. Like a machine. I cockily pulled out my gold card and chose to swipe. The shopkeeper even threw in a small gift. Reportedly, using it together enhances the experience significantly. After thanking the shopkeeper, I brought up the intelligence mentioned by that woman earlier. But seeing my interest, this unscrupulous vendor immediately demanded an exorbitant price of 900,000. My cheek twitched. Ignoring the shopkeeper, I turned and walked away. Did she really take me for a sucker? Trying to flip it for 7 times the profit right before my eyes. This black market's full of nothing but profit-hungry operators. Need to find more reliable partners in the future. After I left, the shopkeeper removed his cat mask. While barely containing his excitement, he'd originally thought tomorrow was just Duke Campbell, that spoiled brat's coming-of-age ceremony. I didn't expect that socialite princess to attend. And yet, the Duke's mansion is short-staffed. They need to recruit outsiders. Who should I sell this information to? I recall the second prince always hated his talented sister. Given his status, asking for 2 million shouldn't be unreasonable. And Duke Raymond, that old coot, would definitely be very interested too. Killing 2 birds with 1 stone. I'm such a bad boy. A heart-fluttering, charming smile curled at the shopkeeper's lips. Inside Campbell Ducal Manor the following evening, I wore that magnificent gown, weighing a full 20 kilograms, and stood before the banquet hall entrance, alongside the Duke, as imposing as a lion, welcoming arriving guests, when a young noblewoman approached with her father to curtsy and greet us. She lowered her head, avoiding eye contact shyly. After I noticed, they actually got so scared they ran off on the spot. My honorable mother was calling me, so I must beg your pardon. I'll take my leave for now. His father awkwardly apologized to me. My daughter is just rather shy. But I knew perfectly well. This was because the original host's reputation was utterly terrible. Not just Earl Hill's daughter, but practically everyone looked at me the same way. Just as I was sighing heavily, father suddenly gently stroked my hair. I'm very pleased with how you've conducted yourself. Remember, you're the protagonist of today's coming-of-age ceremony. After tonight, you'll no longer be a boy, but a true man of the Campbell family. Hearing this, I felt warmth spread through my heart. I'll strive to prove myself. At this moment, a voice at the door asked everyone to quiet down. All eyes turned in unison. Let us welcome Leopold, the empire's third in line to the throne. The child of purity, blessed by the snow goddess, Her Royal Highness Princess Cilicia of the Empire. She possessed long, smooth hair, as flawlessly white as moonlight. Her delicate features seemed carved from true ice, perfect beyond reproach. Beneath her lashes, icy blue eyes held a cool, profound depth. Father had warned me repeatedly not to show any disrespect. Stepping forward, I greeted the princess with utmost courtesy. Your Highness, you look especially enchanting today. Cilicia also glided gracefully towards me. Long time no see. Young Master Moon, I am honored by your praise. Cilicia lightly lifted the hem of her skirt, responding with elegance. Hearing such compliments from young Master Moon is quite rare indeed. I offered an awkward smile. Now, what do you mean by that? It makes it sound as if I were some sort of ill-mannered fool who can't control his tongue. Is that not what I said? A flicker of confusion passed through Cilicia's cool gaze. I quickly changed the subject, suggesting she rest first. The banquet would officially begin later. Watching her retreating figure, I heaved a long sigh. Who would have thought, despite her stunning beauty, Cilicia could be quite frightening. Still, she had already sensed I seemed somewhat different from before. Not quite like a spoiled rich kid. Could it be because he's become slightly more polite? Suddenly, I heard the surrounding crowd whispering. That illegitimate daughter actually showed up too. The woman who recently dueled her former fiancé. I heard Count Bogard just named her his heir. No idea what he was thinking. The true protagonist of the original story. The ultimate Mary Sue has finally made her entrance. This woman with raven black hair, dressed in plain clothing, had quite a pleasing appearance, though not as stunningly perfect as Cilicia. Ariel didn't bow to me, as if greeting a close friend, but I knew our relationship was anything but good. Just then, some spoiled brat jumped out. His lackey shouted, "You insolent wretch! How dare you address our young Master Moon?" Before the punk could finish, I rushed forward and covered his mouth. Can't let anyone make enemies for me at a time like this. Then I turned to Ariel with my most charming smile. I've been quite well lately. Thanks for your concern. Seeing my impeccable manners, Ariel looked like she'd seen a ghost. This guy didn't call me low-born bastard like before. Had his brain finally started working? Or was this some scheme? Ariel stroked her pale chin in thought. I shifted my gaze to the pure and lovely girl beside her. This must be Miss Leia, right? How does Master Moon know my name? Leia blinked adorably and asked in surprise. I smiled and asked how I could possibly not know the name of tonight's important guest. Miss Leia Angel. Truth be told, I know. She will become the saintess of the Life Church in the future. A position far higher than mine. But just as I reached out my hand, Ariel blocked me. What are you trying to do? She shielded Leia behind her. Her intense almond-shaped eyes fixed sharply on me. I warn you, don't get any funny ideas about Leia. I'm only here out of respect for your father. Otherwise, I wouldn't let you off so easily. With that, she took Leia's hand and walked inside, not forgetting to spit out one last remark. That fake delicate act is disgusting. I sighed helplessly. Seems the conflict with the protagonist can't be resolved for now. But after tonight, our destinies will completely become two parallel lines that never intersect, each with our own bright futures. From now on, you go be your savior. I'll go be my office worker, under the supervision of my cheap parents, and witnessed by all the Empire's nobility. I finally completed my coming-of-age speech at 18. But this heir status only lasts until tonight. Now, it's time to get down to business. Watching the constant clinking of glasses in the banquet hall, bustling with excitement, yet Cilicia stood alone on the balcony, admiring the manor's night view. To leave His Highness unattended like this. Seems I've been terribly rude as the host. Cilicia lifted her cool eyes to meet mine. This courteous young noble gracefully extended a dance invitation to her. After a moment of silence, Cilicia gently placed her hand in my palm. Tonight is your coming-of-age ceremony. Naturally, no reason to decline. Instantly, we became the focal point of all gazes. Ariel and Leia also turned their eyes toward us, holding Cilicia's delicate hand, resting lightly on her willowy waist. As the music began, our steps intertwined like two butterflies dancing in tandem. Your footwork is quite good. Thank you for the compliment, though still at a beginner's level. Seeing me so reserved and humble, Cilicia suddenly remarked, "You really have changed, Moon Campbell." I was utterly baffled. It's how you ask people now. I remember at the last academy ball when you asked someone to dance. You said it like this. Cilicia then strove to mimic my former arrogant demeanor. Woman, rejoice, be glad. This young master graciously grant you the privilege to dance with me. After listening, I cringed so hard my toes could have dug out a 3-bedroom apartment. Cecilia still asked if her imitation was accurate. I offered a sheepish grin and apologized to her, begging her to forget that awful memory. As the dance drew to a close, I seized the chance to invite her to my room to discuss our engagement. This time, Cecilia didn't even hesitate, and nodded in agreement immediately. Though she consented, her confusion about needing privacy was evident. I knew she could never love me. Our union was merely a political marriage, orchestrated by the king to maintain ties with my father. If you were the one to call off the engagement, it would undoubtedly damage the imperial family's credibility, relationship with your parents. But if we join forces, we might just find a respectable way to dissolve our engagement. Cecilia completely bought my story, agreeing this crucial matter required private discussion. Just as I was secretly rejoicing, she immediately asked where my room was. Without waiting for the dance to end, she dragged me away right before everyone's eyes. The two maids in black and white uniforms nearby saw this and began whispering. Cecilia left with that foolish young master. Let's commence our operation. We must move swiftly, for this is the Star-Killing King's territory. After leading Cecilia to my room, I produced a bottle of red wine and prepared to initiate the plan. She brushed a stray strand of silver white hair behind her ear, said her constitution couldn't tolerate alcohol, not even a single drop. My eyes widened involuntarily. Can't drink? Then how am I supposed to drug her? So I asked if she'd like black tea instead. Due to certain unavoidable circumstances, only red wine and black tea were available tonight. No other beverages offered. After some thought, Cecilia chose the tea. I hurriedly stood to prepare it. Please wait a moment, Your Grace. Oh. A flicker of suspicion crossed Cecilia's cool eyes. Since when did brewing tea make this guy so happy? Meanwhile, I stole glances to see if she'd follow, while secretly adding the potion. For a mage as formidable as Cecilia, better add a few extra drops. As for this pink bottle, better skip it to be safe. Suddenly, her impatient voice came from behind. Aren't you done yet? I spun around, hiding the vial behind my back. Almost ready, Your Highness. Simultaneously, I spilled potion into my own cup. Watching Cecilia's retreating figure, I heaved a long sigh. Thankfully, no magical residue. That was dangerously close to exposure. Abruptly, I noticed my entire vial had spilled onto the floor. My mind broke down on the spot. My entire plan diluting this into 10,000 portions post-exile, selling it as sleeping pills to fund my first fortune. All gone, just like that. After composing myself, I emerged carrying 2 cups of black tea. Cecilia didn't drink immediately. Instead, she carefully examined the tea. Why is this black tea so intensely red? It even seems to glow. Hearing this, I began spinning absurdities with a straight face. This is a newly acquired premium tea from the Eastern Kingdom, called Da Hong Pao. Cecilia lifted her ice blue eyes, staring directly at me. Then perhaps young Master Moon should drink first. Clearly, she suspected I'd tampered with the tea, veiling it as the host's privilege to partake first. A basic noble etiquette. But just as I prepared to down it in one gulp, Cecilia suddenly called out, Young Master Moon's tea seems more aromatic. So let's swap. You don't mind, do you? Watching her take the cup meant for me. I thought the plan was nearing success. When Cecilia took a small sip, panic flashed in her eyes for the first time. But it was too late. She felt her body going limp. Cecilia's frosty gaze shot me a hateful glare, brimming with resentment. You actually. Finally, succumbing to the drug's effect, she collapsed limply onto the sofa. Fortunately, been clever, having laced both cups with the concoction, true to its reputation, strong enough to knock out an elephant with a drop. I recalled in the original plot, it wouldn't be long before Feng A Ocean would come charging over. I had to prepare in advance. I casually took off my own clothes as well. But after waiting a full 30 minutes, Ariel still hadn't appeared. I couldn't understand it. Why wasn't it following the script from the book? I began desperately trying to recall the original plot. I remembered that, at the time, Ariel, because her dress got stained by the red wine a clumsy maid accidentally spilled, had come alone, looking for a bathroom. But because she was terrible with directions, she got lost and ended up in this room, accidentally ruining the protagonist's evil scheme. Wait. Wasn't that clumsy maid the one I sent off to rest? So that means my kindness had altered the course of the story, completely unaware that the unconscious Celicia had actually awakened, and I was still calmly thinking of a way to fix things, when suddenly I felt an icy chill spread through my entire body. I stiffly turned my head to look around. The next second, a hand reached out and covered my mouth, accompanied by a thud. Celicia was suddenly lying on top of me, scaring me so much that cold sweat broke out all over my body. Your Highness, please let me explain. It's not what you think. But she wasn't listening to me at all. I saw her little face was exceptionally red, and she kept murmuring, Audie feels so hot. I could tell her condition wasn't right. I prepared to go out and find her a doctor, only for her to freeze both my hands solid with ice. Ariel still hasn't arrived yet. If this continues, the act might become reality. Meanwhile, inside the Duke's mansion, Ariel was holding up her skirt hem like a headless chicken, pacing back and forth in the mansion's corridors. A distinct stain marked one corner of her skirt, caused by clumsy Leah earlier, who accidentally smeared cake on it. Ariel suddenly looked toward the shadows at the corner. A cold glint flashed in her eyes. "Who's there? Come out." Clear footsteps echoed from the darkness. A maid slowly emerged. The maid bowed to Ariel, saying respectfully, "My apologies. This is the Duke's restricted area. Please turn back, honored guest." Ariel frowned in confusion. Restricted area? Duke's confidential affairs. I cannot disclose. Chi, how stingy. Ariel clicked her tongue. Just then, Anne noticed Ariel's stained skirt, offering to clean it for her. She extended her hands toward the skirt hem, releasing a stream of green fluorescence. The cleansing light flashed, leaving the skirt spotless. Ariel blinked in astonishment. "Even the maids here can use magic?" Anne smiled and reminded Ariel, "In 5 minutes, the banquet will serve limited edition patchy cakes. You might want to hurry if you'd like some. You absolutely must not miss it." Ariel heard it was her favorite patchy cake. Her eyes instantly lit up. While running, she turned back to express thanks. "Thank you for your help, Miss Maid. I'm off to snatch the cake now." Anne politely replied, "You're welcome. Take care on your way," she added before turning toward the room where Cilicia and I were. After running some distance, Ariel muttered to herself, "I know that maid carries the scent of blood. Her story about the Duke's forbidden area is definitely a lie. And that other hidden person concerns me too. Anyway, if she causes trouble, it'll be within the Duke's estate. Surely nothing will come back to haunt me." As for Princess Cilicia, the magic genius, she's a grown woman who won't just disappear. It's not like she'll get devoured by that useless young master. Besides, nothing matters more than my patchy cake. "My dear Patchy, I'm coming." At the opposite corridor's bend, Black Maid number 8 kept observing the situation outside. "Is that girl your target too?" No, she was no Nine's target. But that girl was 2 major realms stronger. Number 9 ended up being killed by her instead. White Maid number 6 crouched on the floor, deciphering the runes on the ground. While responding to her, number 8 grew visibly restless, asking how much longer it would take. But this is, after all, something laid down by Lion Dragon and Campbell. To silently breach the defenses is no easy feat. Number 6 dripped with sweat, yet remained mentally vigilant. If Moon Campbell, or Her Highness Princess Cilicia, were to emerge suddenly, the mission would fail. When she finally regained consciousness and understood what I'd done to her, she aimed an ice arrow at me. "You have 1 minute to speak your last words. I'll make your death swift." I forced a smile even more pitiful than tears. "Will I live if I stay silent?" You still fail to grasp the situation. Cilicia's ice arrow suddenly radiated a terrifying aura. Panicking, I begged her to wait. Failing to calm her would spell disaster. I could only employ modern wit. Once there was true love before me that I failed to cherish. Only after losing it did I comprehend regret. If the heavens grant me another chance. Before I could finish, Cilicia pressed the ice arrow against my forehead. "So this is your disgusting justification?" Her expression remained frosty. I grinned crookedly. "These are my genuine feelings. And technically, we didn't cross that line today." Cilicia abruptly cut me off. "You call these dirty tricks genuine? Are you kidding me? If you truly loved me, you'd stand before me openly and honorably. Use your character, capabilities, and sincerity to win me over like a real man. Even if I still didn't develop feelings for you, I might have honored our engagement and become your wife. Yet you chose to drug me. This despicable, shameless tactic. Cecilia spoke these words, tears of disappointment streaming down her face. I'm sorry, Cecilia. I had no other choice. I just wanted an outcome. Never meant to disrespect you. But Cecilia refused my apology outright. On your knees. Suddenly, knocking echoed from outside the room. She glanced toward the door, clear annoyance flashing in her eyes. Then she seized my throat, threatening, make whoever's out there leave. I shook my head desperately. Impossible, this room is soundproof. No sound escapes. Cecilia frowned slightly, pondering briefly, before withdrawing the hand that could end me anytime. I'll spare your wretched life, for now. Get dressed. Opening the door, as you command. I clothed myself and approached the entrance, dreading, this is catastrophic. Only 3 paths remain. Die by Cecilia's hand. Hang by the king's wrath. Or, like in the precognitive dream, die to death by 1,000 cuts from an unknown assailant. Whichever path I choose, is one I refuse to take. My phoenix-proud protagonist. Why did you arrive only now? We'd nearly reached the point of no return. I thought Ariel, the protagonist, had come to my door. But instead stood a dark-skinned maid. Young Master Moon, the mistress noticed you've been conversing with Her Highness the Princess for quite some time, and specially sent me with refreshments. Without suspicion, I let the maid enter and instructed her to place the pastries on the table over there. Suddenly, realization struck. Why have I never seen you before? The dark-skinned maid calmly explained. She'd only been selected to serve at the ducal manor last night, so my unfamiliarity was natural. Yet I remembered, Anne kept no spare maid uniforms for hired servants. Seeing her cover nearly blown, the maid spun around and lunged toward the room. An assassin. But her target wasn't me. Celicia, out, I shouted in warning. Yet the dark-skinned maid was already upon him. 2 formidable forces collided instantly. As the dust settled, I gazed at Celicia with concern, only to see his ice sword pinning the dark-skinned maid's dagger with perfect precision. Celicia stared down his assailant, voice glacial as he demanded, let me guess. My foolish brother sent you? Sorry, the employer's information is strictly confidential. Her Highness the Princess has no need to know either. Because you will certainly die here. Countless golden magic spheres materialized the next second. The 3rd Princess of the Empire was assassinated at Duke Campbell's residence. This is your fate. A tremendous explosion reverberates throughout the chamber. The black-clad maid gracefully evades the blast's aftermath. A smug smile involuntarily spreads across her face. Such concentrated magical assault. Even a mentor from St. Maria Academy could only. But before he finishes speaking, a thin layer of frost rapidly spreads toward him. Icicles take form, frost coalescing into a spear, bestowing supreme power, her expression icy as a glacier. The eternally impassive Celicia. A flush of humiliated fury colors her eyes. Gripping her lance, she thrusts viciously toward the black-clad maid. As the saying goes, when gods fight, mortals suffer. I've now quietly reached the doorway, thinking I mustn't remain here any longer. Otherwise, I'll die without even knowing how. Simply opening the door would mean easy escape. Yet the door turns out to be securely locked. So that maid assassin came thoroughly prepared after all. No wonder she dared assassinate the illustrious 3rd princess within this heavily guarded ducal estate. But how strange. This sequence wasn't in the original book at all. Could it be that my issued command gave these assassins the opportunity they needed? In the original book, the sick maid Noelle did not get a chance to rest, nor did the original master order new external hires to ensure the banquet's smooth operation. Yet, in the current world line, because of my small act of kindness, the story's trajectory changed. But this is utterly absurd. The hiring was conducted overnight, Just yesterday, meaning someone's been watching the Duke's mansion 24/7. For now, I can only silently pray Cilicia defeats the assassins. After all, a weakling like me can do nothing. The assassin's target is clearly only Cilicia. Wide-eyed, I hid aside stealing glances. The future remains unknown. Even if Cilicia wins, will there truly be a happy ending? If he dies here, then what just happened would remain unknown. As I wallowed in self-doubt, the battle situation suddenly underwent a shift, truly befitting His Highness Cilicia, the divinely chosen super genius. Cilicia snorted coldly, burst step movement, lightsaber magic, and gravity magic weighing down my body. The latter two magics lacked mana fluctuations, likely techniques from that assassin in the adjacent room. The black-clad maid hadn't anticipated. Just as the rumors said, Cilicia saw through their techniques at a glance, though the rumors fell short. It's not like the magical genius has never killed before. He's killed before, you know. Even in the realm of geniuses, Cecilia is a freak of nature. He grips twin ice swords, his gaze still glacial. Name your mastermind now, and I might spare your life. The black-clad maid chuckles coldly. As an assassin, I really shouldn't chatter this much. But sometimes assassins need to buy time. As her words fade, a piercing hum erupts instantly. Then the entire room begins to tremble. Divine golden light bursts from runic seals, completely sealing off the chamber. Hurry it up. I can't hold much longer. The white-clad maid next door urges frantically. Relax, this won't take long. The black maid suddenly produced a vessel filled with fresh blood. She began solemnly reciting an incantation. With the blood of 100 unified hearts, here we offer sacrifice to the god of the Glory Clan, Lord of the Crimson Sun, Great Withering King. A flash of horror crossed Cilicia's eyes, for this was a ritual to an evil god. The black maid crushed the vessel. Grant us the power to suppress wind and snow. A black hole-like vortex slowly emerged from the void. Bewitching flames began to dance. Cilicia's ice arrows shattered instantly. She herself was struck by this malevolent force. Cilicia spoke with indescribable fury. Evil priestesses, you sewer rats, how dare you show yourselves before me? To a noble princess like yourself, we are indeed merely rats, but you will soon be slain by these lowly rats. The black maid moved with blinding speed, appearing directly before Cilicia, launching a frenzied assault. But she abruptly halted. Unexpectedly, besides magic, Cilicia's swordsmanship proved remarkably skilled, having evaded every lethal strike. Yet Cilicia, unable to wield ice magic, was like a lamb awaiting slaughter. The black maid viciously kicked her waist. As the smoke dispersed, Cilicia emerged covered in wounds. Despair had completely enveloped her, crushing her until she struggled to breathe. The dark-clad maid's right hand flipped the dagger deftly. With a smug face, "It's about time. This should end now. I'll be taking the Princess Sama's head." The black-clad maid gripped her dagger and thrust toward Cilicia's heart. With a sickening plunge, blood sprayed everywhere. Yet he wore utter astonishment, for Cilicia felt no pain, instead enveloped by a familiar, warm aura surrounding him. Because I took the blow with my body, now, wouldn't giving up be a little premature, my princess? Cilicia's eyes widened in disbelief, showing panic and confusion like a little girl. Why did you save me? Why did Moon Campbell want to know as well? Because just 3 minutes ago, the assassins guarding outside were about to let me leave. Their target was only Cilicia. All I had to do was stand by idly and watch him die. Yet I simply couldn't do it. I reached out both hands and desperately grabbed the black maid's dagger, then shouted at Cilicia behind me. What are you waiting for? Now's your chance. The black maid struggled furiously. Moon Campbell, you worthless playboy. Before he could finish speaking, Cilicia's figure had already flashed before him, swinging his sword down fiercely. The black maid bled out and died with resentment. Cilicia's gaze sharpened slightly. Finally over. At this moment my anxious heart settled, though he seemed somewhat regretful that the assassin casting spells next door had escaped. He crouched down and asked why I'd saved him after all. Because if he died, no one would know about me overstepping my bounds against a superior. Rationally speaking, that would have been the optimal solution for me. But I felt none of that mattered. I was simply unwilling to let a character once loved most die. Earlier you said, if I were a real man, I should pursue you honorably. So do I seem like a man now? My princess. Cilicia didn't answer me, but softly sighed instead. In 1 minute, your lifeblood will run dry. Hurry and leave your last words. I'll relay them to the Duke and Duchess. With this calamity gone, it's truly the best outcome for them. No need to leave messages. That'd only give them false hope. If I must say final words, I whispered, while gently stroking her cheek. I'm sorry, Cilicia. And I really liked you. Liked you so much. After doing that to me, do you think one life and an apology could ever cleanse your sins? Moon Campbell. I reject your apology. You must live to atone for your crimes. Cilicia reached out and cast a peculiar magic upon me, yet my consciousness drifted into an unfamiliar space. All bodily pain vanished. My corpse felt strangely warm. Seems my final fate was death after all. But this was my own choice. And before dying, right before a supreme beauty like Cilicia, I managed to put on quite a show. Felt slightly rewarding, honestly. Yet in the end, it was a devastating loss. That hard-earned reincarnation opportunity. To become a scumbag. Take advantage of others. And watch people die without lifting a finger. I truly couldn't do it. After all, I'm no heartless beast like the original owner. Suddenly, that black book reappeared. Progress loading. Arrogance progress, 50%. Jealousy level, 99%. Rage level, minus 90%. Other sins greed, lust, sloth, at 0%. As pages flipped rapidly, 2 crimson lines materialized. Keep struggling, then. Moon Campbell. For this world's sake. After reading this, fury consumed me. Where were you when I nearly died moments ago? Now you try dragging me back to that horrific basement? Just because the tiger shows no fangs, you assume I'm some feeble kitten? The next instant, the book swallowed me whole. Meanwhile, in the ducal mansion sewers, the white-clad maid fled desperately, while cursing through gritted teeth. Damn it. The assassination would have succeeded if I'd been slightly faster. Should have eliminated Moon Campbell first. I just thought I heard. Someone said they wanted to kill my precious son. The white maid's fleeing footsteps abruptly halted, because someone stood before him. A man imposing as a lion. Lionel Campbell, the Lion King. How could you be here? His face instantly drained of color. Lionel Campbell radiated terrifying malice. To think this guest would recall this unworthy name of mine. But tell me, honored guest, I recall the Campbell family never invited you. Why have you come uninvited? Do enlighten me. Especially regarding what you intended for my precious son. I shall listen most attentively. Opening my eyes, I found myself lying in bed. Familiar maid Anne, sitting beside me. Her face full of concern as she asked young Master Moon, "Does anywhere still hurt? If so, I'll summon the doctor to examine you immediately." Struggling to sit up, I told her not to call the doctor, explaining I just needed the toilet. The next instant, sharp pain shot through my chest, sending me collapsing backward. Anne rushed forward to catch me in her arms. "I didn't realize you were still so weak." "Sorry, and young master needn't apologize. Attending to you is my duty. There's a chamber pot in the room. Let me assist you." Hearing the words, chamber pot, I was utterly dumbfounded, but I saw Anne already bringing out the bedpan, because the madam didn't trust others to care for the young master. So these past few days, I've been handling sponge baths and bodily needs. All of these duties fell to me. Though the young master remained unconscious, when you frowned and curled up, I immediately sensed your discomfort. As for indiscretions like bedwetting, not once has it happened these past days. Do you need help removing your trousers now? As she spoke, and directly knelt down. Startled, I frantically waved my hands in refusal. My complete dependence was understandable before. But now that I'm awake, this isn't necessary. Just slowly help me walk to the restroom. And rose respectfully. Very well, young master. Before I could react, she reached out and scooped me up in a princess carry. This will be faster. Please bear with it, young master. On our way to the restroom, we happened to be seen by two cleaning maids, Sister Anne and young Master Moon. Quick, inform the madam. The young master is awake. Being carried like this by a beautiful maid as a grown man. I flushed with embarrassment, desperately covering my face. After entering the restroom, and still hesitated to leave, saying the madam ordered 24-hour close protection. With a girl watching me, how am I supposed to go? I quickly pushed her out and slammed the door shut shortly after and carried me back to the room. From her words, I learned I slept for a full 3 days. As for the wounds on my body, Her Highness Cilicia summoned the chief royal healer of the Royal Mage Corps to personally cast healing magic upon me. The injuries healed completely that very night, but my body was utterly exhausted, hence the prolonged slumber. Gazing at the scar on my chest, never imagined he'd be the one to save me in the end. I cautiously asked Cilicia, "Did he say anything about me?" Anne replied that he hadn't. Hearing this, I breathed a sigh of relief. Seems he doesn't intend to pursue this matter. But Anne pondered further. Before leaving, Her Highness spoke with the Duke. According to the investigation, the assassin's target was Her Highness Cilicia. The mastermind was the underground black market entrenched in Belland for years. His Majesty flew into a rage and deployed troops to raise the black market the very next day. Many were arrested and executed. That same night, the Duke captured 2 disguised assassins alive, who confessed everything under interrogation. Before launching the assault, the Duke had prepared to face His Majesty's punishment. Yet unexpectedly, he returned the following day, not only escaping penalty, but His Majesty didn't even order a thorough investigation of the nobility. For our House Campbell, I believe the princess must have spoken to the king and intervened on our behalf. After hearing and recount the whole story, my anxious heart finally settled. Then and suddenly leaned her face close to mine. "You're so concerned about this matter. Is it because while you were alone with Her Highness in the room, you did something to her?" "No, of course not." I shook my head vigorously and replied with a stern expression, "That's Her Highness the Princess. If I'd done anything to her, they'd have my head for it. Right?" And seemed to believe my explanation and didn't press further. Instead, she lifted the medicine bowl in her hands. "Come now, drink your medicine. Young master, it's no longer hot." Being hand-fed by a beautiful girl is every nerd's ultimate fantasy. Ugh, so bitter. What kind of medicine is this? My tongue's gone numb. Strictly speaking, this isn't medicine, but a tonic. Knowing young Master Moon hates bitterness, we've already added sugar. Be good now, young master. Open wide. This isn't about being good or not. It's just too bitter to swallow. Suddenly, I noticed several maids peeking through the door crack. The young master's angry. Goodness, how scary. 3 maids whispered outside the door. The young master despises bitter food. Every time he tastes something bitter, he flies into a rage and takes his whip to people. Didn't Noel say he'd softened recently? Sister and might get whipped too. We'd better go and let Themistress know right away. The next second I pointed at the door and roared, "Nobody leaves. It's just some slightly bitter medicine." Saying this, I began gulping it down in huge mouthfuls. Seeing this scene, the maid slammed the door shut and fled. By then, I'd already drunk half the bowl. But then, I vomited it all back up. This was utterly disgusting. And stood by apologetically, saying she should have warned me sooner. That this medicine must be sipped slowly. Drinking it all at once triggers physiological nausea. According to the royal physician, 2 more doses will cure me completely. Hearing this, I sighed helplessly. This concoction's bitterer than my life. Can't be bothered anymore. Just end this world already. There's still some time before dinner. And Hai has prepared delicious pancake cakes. She said I could have some to tide me over if I'm hungry. Seeing how hardworking and thoughtful she is, I'm extremely satisfied. I plan to tell mother later to give in a raise and respectfully bid me farewell, saying she'd report my health to father and mother to ease their worries before leaving, and also told me there's a letter on the cabinet sent from the palace this morning. I suspect it might be from Cilicia and plan to read it later. But one thing still puzzles me at the moment. How did Anne manage to feed me that awful medicinal brew while I was unconscious? Truthfully, I'm just a bit curious. Covering her small mouth with her hand, and turned away, and replied, "Exactly as you imagined, young master. Knowing you can't stand bitterness, I put plenty of sugar in my mouth." With that, she closed the door and left. Wait, whose mouth did she mean? Mine or hers? But the reality is, the moment this thought occurred to me, I let out an excited shout that Anne heard outside the door. Judging by the story's plot, the original owner was a complete idiot, with a powerful father and beautiful mother, plus a maid who loves him this much. Yet he abandoned his privileged life as the young master, just to provoke the protagonist, Ariel. So it seems the maid big sister might have taken my first kiss. Wait, no, I just remembered. My first kiss was actually with Cecilia that time. And that was it. So I opened that letter to read it. Written simply on it was one sentence: "Fine, I'll grudgingly consider you half a man." Moon Campbell. What does half a man even mean? Though it's kinda bold. It seems she doesn't plan to hold me accountable for my wrongdoing. Perhaps my risking my life to save her touched her heart, and also helped me avoid the worst outcome. Come dinner time, mother hugged me from behind, crying tears of joy. "You scared mommy to death. You've finally woken up. If anything serious had happened to you, I wouldn't want to live anymore. My little Moon was always so perfect and flawless, but now has this ugly little scar." I reassured her not to worry too much about it. "It's just a minor injury. My body's almost fully recovered now." Father patted mother's shoulder. "Moon's right. Just a small wound. Scars are a badge of honor for us men. This time, thanks to little Moon risking his life to save the princess, we avoided punishment from His Majesty." At this point, I asked father for details about the assassination attempt. He said there were 3 assassins in total, besides the one the princess killed on the spot, and the one who shattered the barrier. There was another hiding in the drainage canals as backup. After subjecting the 2 assassins to harsh interrogation, many valuable clues were extracted from them. It turns out these 3 weren't professional death warriors, but rather members of a bounty hunter organization, operating year-round in Bearland's black market, worshipping an evil deity called the Withered King. Yet I recall the original novel never mentioned such matters, likely just an insignificant minor faction. According to Royal Guard intelligence, this gang was a heinous criminal syndicate. They'd even accept contracts to kill their own kin for the right price. But these deranged desperados were completely eradicated by your father's forces. Your father became the first Grand Duke in the kingdom's history, promoted exceptionally for outstanding military feats. Don't listen to your mother's nonsense. I was just following orders to purge the rat holes around the royal capital. Regrettably, the mastermind wasn't uncovered. Every captured member of the Hunter organization had been cursed. Mentioning any detail about the mastermind made them spontaneously combust instantly. This meant the mastermind exerted extreme control over the capital's underworld. Hence His Majesty later ordered investigations into all nobility. After all, those daring to target the princess were most likely princes or certain dukes and marquises. I suddenly remembered a similar incident in the original book, triggered by someone in the black market. A bounty was placed on the life of His Majesty's most favored concubine. Someone accepted and succeeded in the assassination. The enraged emperor ordered the royal knights to thoroughly purge the underworld of Belran. That brutal manhunt lasted 3 full months. So many died that the city's sewers ran red with blood. Hence it became known as the Blood River Incident. But that was supposed to happen 2 years later. Now, the black market is gone, which means the concubine won't die, and the Blood River Incident won't occur. Yet this was a pivotal event for Ariel's development. At that time, he attended an auction and got caught in the conflict between the royal knights and the underworld. Though he faced mortal danger multiple times, his protagonist's luck aura helped him narrowly escape each crisis. His power skyrocketed. One could say the Blood River Incident marked the crucial transition from the Academy arc to the later Savior arc. Yet because I gave the maid Noelle 2 days off, I triggered this chain reaction. This is bad. Really bad. The original storyline has completely derailed. The first thing I did upon returning to my room was to sort through this plot that's completely diverged from the source material, because every event I'll face from now on is unknown territory for me. The original story holds no reference value anymore. To survive, I must rely entirely on myself. First, I need to set a few small goals. Several minutes later, I'd summarized 4 key points. First, survive. Second, avoid the imprisonment hunting ending. Third, become stronger. Fourth, Black Book is untrustworthy. I thought it over, then crossed out the last item. Though that female pervert's voice doesn't match anyone I've encountered so far, I can't rule out being captured and tortured to death after imprisonment. But Uncle High's prophecy must be guarded against. I still don't know the cause or trigger conditions for that ending. As for who'd harbor such intense hatred toward me, if we exclude Ariel and Cilicia, I truly can't imagine anyone else. Absolutely ridiculous. Being disadvantaged by lack of intel, with just those fragmented prophetic dream glimpses, it's impossible to deduce who it could be. Whatever, I'll stop overthinking. My most crucial goal now is gaining strength. As a Duke's heir, there are many paths to power. Pity they're all too conventional, unlikely to bridge the gap with the protagonist group. Besides, the original host wasted too much time, despite studying a full year. At St. Maria Magic Academy, I can only recall a single illumination spell from memory. Absolutely ridiculous. Did the young master sleep through every class? Fortunately, his physical constitution seems decent, reaching late stage level 1. According to Academy-taught combat knowledge, dancers, mages, and clerics all follow 5-tier systems. Beyond that, I've no access to information. Even if I busted my estraining to reach the 5th tier, falls short of Ariel and Cilicia. They're kind of divine blessed ones. In this world, divine blessed don't belong to conventional systems. They're practically walking cheat codes. Take Cilicia, for example. She received the snow goddess's authority at birth, possessing ice manipulation abilities since childhood. This innate instinct isn't like clerics, godly power gained through prayer, offerings, or bargains, comparable to Ilir, who, by the original story's climax, carried divine blessings numbering in the double digits. Practically every deity had some connection to him. Essentially a gender-swapped Monkey King. When losing fights, just start calling divine backup. Even now, he outmatches me completely. He not only masters magic, Also divine blessing sand, various rare items. When facing ordinary mages or dancers, beating opponents 2 tiers higher isn't even an issue. Especially since I'm just a weakling. Based on the current situation, my strength must at least reach the point where I can protect myself against Ariel. Though the protagonist is powerful, I've got cheats too. Namely, Dark Uncle awakened during the assassin incident, and he comes whenever called. But Dark Uncle nearly made me airless right after appearing. The pain made me squeal like a slaughtered pig. I grabbed Dark Uncle and cursed him out. Suddenly, the book started flipping pages automatically. Turns out, it wasn't some mystical blank tome, but densely recorded with my recent experiences, including that part where Cilicia pinned me down. It's written so detailed, making me feel like I'm reading something indecent. But I quickly noticed something strange. The entire Black Book's text was in black font, except when recording that assassination attempt. The part about Cilicia's assassin. The words assassin appeared in blood red color. While I was pondering this, the crimson characters emitted an overwhelming pull. Not this again, just like last time. But where will it take me this time? After being sucked into the Black Book, I appeared in an unfamiliar place. The lighting here was dim, yet visibility remained clear. Nothing surrounded me either. Could that previous dungeon have been inside the Black Book space? Just as I puzzled over this, a strange sound suddenly came from behind me, like the footsteps of a maid's leather shoes, clicking on marble floors. I turned around, eyes widening involuntarily. Who dares trespass in the Shadow Division? Before the dark-skinned maid's words faded, she'd already flashed before me and slit my throat with her dagger. Before I could react, my vision blurred. What's going on? I jolted awake at my desk, touching my neck still intact. Can't believe I got instantly killed that fast. And wasn't that dark-skinned maid supposed to be dead? Why's she appearing in the Black Book? Then the Black Book began flipping pages autonomously, finally stopping at a specific page. Actually, that was Mickup ability information above. Warrior and Mage level at 1. Dagger Combat Mastery at 1%. Shadow Step Mastery at 0.5%. Seeing this, I revealed a smug smile. So this is the Black Book's true power, after all. My bad, babe. I spoke too loudly earlier. If my deduction is correct, once I train these masteries up, my power will absolutely skyrocket. Entered the book again, but only lasted 3 seconds before getting ejected, and the time flow matches reality. When I checked the skill mastery again, it had already increased by 0.5%. Exactly as I suspected, this Black Book is like the ultimate grind version of the Sharingan. Skills used by enemies get recorded in the Black Book. By fighting the shadow enemies in the Mirage, I can gain proficiency. I get free access to all skills I've used, without paying a single cent in tuition. The female assassin's swift footwork and agile combat techniques will soon all be mine. With such a powerful cheat, why fear the protagonist? I can almost see myself kicking the protagonist, punching the villains, marrying the beautiful heiress, and ascending to life's peak. Though I don't yet know what effects, proficiency growth rate, I'll just train for now. As I get repeatedly played out by the shadows, my survival time in the Black Book space lengthens. So, just obediently surrender all your moves and skills. The assassin naturally didn't respond, only silently attacking me relentlessly. Unnoticed, late night arrived. Maid N knocked with tonic medicine. The young master wondered why no answer came. N didn't call again, but naturally pushed the door open. She glanced toward the bed. Young master, time for your medicine. But saw me tightly wrapped in blankets, curled into a ball, and couldn't help smiling. So grown yet, sleeping like a child still. Utterly adorable. Must have just fallen asleep, best not disturb. After consideration, Anne left the meal on the table, casually cast a minor insulating spell, Then he cautiously left, without making a single sound. After On departed, I was once again struck out from the black tree by the assassin's shadow. Tore off the blanket. A crotch kick? How utterly shameless. Being this much stronger than me, yet resorting to dirty tricks. Next time I refuse to believe I can't land a single hit on him. Time swiftly arrived at the next morning. After 185 practice attempts, I finally lasted 30 seconds against the shadow. Suddenly excruciating pain shot through my entire body, accidentally knocking over the medicine On brought. I lay on the floor recovering for quite some time, before finally shaking off. That agonizing sensation damn near finished me off. Although you don't truly die in the illusionary realm, the pain it brings is real. I wanted to see if I could exploit a loophole by continuously entering the illusionary realm to avoid the impact of death. Seems that won't work now, but all this is worth it. Excitedly, I pulled out the black book. First, to examine the fruits of my labor. Dagger combat art proficiency, 35% shadow step proficiency, 11%. Though only 1 or 2 levels, still far from that third-rank warrior assassin. But once I've crossed the threshold, progress will become much easier later. I'm completely confident that I can assimilate that assassin's techniques all into my own power. Can't wait any longer. First, let's test the results. Shadow step. A golden glint flashed in my eyes. All power gathered in my feet, erupted like a volcano in that instant. In a split second, I covered over 10 meters. I succeeded. But after just 2 seconds of excitement, my feet started hurting terribly. Darn it, nobody told me this move would hurt my feet. Arg, it hurts this much. How did that assassin keep a straight face, acting completely unfazed? I immediately realized my cultivation level is too low. This isn't something a first-rank warrior should learn. It requires battle key coordination for casual use. Battle key is an energy only second-rank warriors can master. Indeed, I'm still too weak right now. The subsequent plans need to be readjusted. First, there needs to be teacher willing to teach. I remember St. Maria College is starting soon. But college instructors are mostly magicians. Haven't heard of any impressive dancers yet. Because magic in this world is truly convenient. Leads to too few people practicing martial arts. But I found that the teacher is actually at home. In this world, over the past century, there is a world-renowned dancer. He was by the king's side when he was still a prince at the age of 15. Serve as Imperial Guard. At 20, he led the Imperial Guards to sweep across domestic and international evil factions, successfully stabilized the turbulent situation following the new ruler's rise to power. 25. Assumed office as Imperial Marshal. Guard and protect the border. Fought several campaigns that shocked the nation. Thus far, the entire imperial territory has not only clarified its territorial boundaries, the beaten neighboring country and the demon clan have not dared to invade for nearly 20 years. At age 32, learned Toa's homeland in triumph. Was bestowed the title of King Slayer by His Majesty the King. This is since the founding of the nation. The only individual to have ascended through the Empyrean the strength of extraordinary military exploits. The Duke, this person who has never suffered a defeat in their lifetime. Whether it be kingdoms or demonic forces, old guard remnants or turncoats, any threat to the empire, the heaven-sent tough guy would even smack a passing dog. That's my embarrassing dad. Op deserved it. Ended up so badly. You have such an incredible feather and don't even realize it. As for St. Mary's Collegend, the dance instructor, not needed at all. Fine, starting today, I'll just be a stay-at-home. Let Dad, this top-tier poorhouse, teach me hand by hand. Plus the secret study guide that can be used for practice anytime. My own strength is just going to keep skyrocketing, just as I was basking in the perfection of my own plan. beside oneself with excitement when An's voice came from outside the door. Master Moon, are you awake? Turned out father wanted me to go see him. Though you're contacting me this early, is there some urgent matter? As it happens, I also need to talk to him. Let's go together. I was steering An out by the shoulders. To one side, there were two maids cleaning. Good day, young Master Moon. Hello, Sister Anne. I meant, hello, head maid Sama. Anne waved her hand dismissively. There's no blame toward them. Never mind, just keep working. I looked at Anne in astonishment. Maid Changan, you got promoted. Yes, young master. The other day, master appointed me as the new head maid. The original head housekeeper has resigned to take responsibility. I truly feel very sorry. The former head housekeeper was entirely due to my command. That's why she lost her job. I remember when father was very young, the head housekeeper all along stayed by his side, nominally master and servant, but actually, they are more like an older sister or a mother. Identical family ties. Father will certainly be heartbroken over this. And began to comfort me quietly. Young master, you need not blame yourself. This isn't your fault. The head maid is merely resigning from her managerial duties, that's all. Has not left the Thecample household. Just wait until we get there. 3 minutes later, I saw mother in the courtyard. She held me in her arms with a heartbroken look. My darling. Madam Moon, now that I see you Varekovit, well, I feel relieved. How many times have I told you before? Do not call madam. Either mom or mommy is fine. I'm sorry, mom. Now this is mommy's little angel? Then he told me to squat down and have a feel. Why press against your stomach to feel? So it was me. We'll soon be able to become a big brother. Because I'm going to have a little brother or sister. Lately, mom often feels her body is a bit sluggish. So found that royal physician who treated me. Also took a quick look. Indeed, she is pregnant. Mom asked me whether I wanted a younger brother or a younger sister more. I like them both equally. The chat's wrapping up. The father beside said seriously. The older one just recovered from serious injuries. The little one is quite vulnerable too. Don't get too excited. Muk Yan, you sit down. Next, I have something really important to say. But father is returning to the front lines today. My head suddenly went blank. Dad will set off this afternoon. Given that I start school in a month. Only mother remains at home by herself. Staying in the capital city is inconvenient. So mom and most of the maids, in the afternoon, will also be leaving with dad. Return to her own home to rest during pregnancy. And mother is being cared for by former head maid sister Faye. I started trying to persuade dad to stay. Father dear, won't you stay? Except for you. Empire. There should still be quite a few generals who can lead troops into battle. It doesn't necessarily have to be you, your highness, right? But it's too urgent. Dad just can't do anything about it. Because after more than a decade, the demon tribe in the abysses stirring restlessly once more. This time we'll likely have to stand guard at the border for 3 years. Hearing this, I suddenly recalled that this passage is mentioned in the original book. The initial invasion by the demonic forces was in fact merely a feint. The purpose is to confuse humans. The world exists for life, paving the way for some plan after the new year. And that point 3 years later. This marks the official beginning of Mary Sue protagonist's salvation arc. But father has been gone for 3 years. So doesn't that mean me plan is ruined? My safety is also not guaranteed. How do I find one? The teacher woken make me stronger. It feels like the sky's falling right now. In the afternoon, a gorgeous carriage is already waiting there. By the side, there is also a majestic griffin. Father was comforting mother. All right. You are always a crybaby. Cried my eyes out. Our little bun in the oven. If it weren't for this little rascal. I refused to go back to base, just thinking about having to wait until the college break to see Siu Mak Yan. I'm heartbroken. Maid Anne has been standing not far behind, watching. At this moment, father also had a lot to say to me. An assassin for life. Would you be willing to risk your Lefado, save Her Royal Highness the Princess? Prove that Korogiran's deep in your bones. You're a true Campbell through and through. As a man of the Campbell family, defending our homeland is our sacred duty, even more so as we serve as empires for great dukes. Family responsibility. See this medal on my chest? This is the crest o' for Campbell family. The sword blade represents His Majesty the King's sword. That troll below. It refers to all enemies of the empire. I am the Emperor's harpist weapon. Men of the Campbell family. The day will come when you set foot on your own battleground. Perhaps you'll take him over from me. Or perhaps you will find another path that is your very own. Dad still wants to tell you. Just do whatever you want. You already possess the character a grown man should have. And I've prepared for you the resources lacked when young. Touched by my father's heartfelt words, my eyes welled up. Father suddenly laid his hand on my shoulder. All right, all those things he just mentioned were. Cut the pleasantries, father and son. It's time we discussed serious matters. I'm asking you, what do you think of Anne? And Ta is very good. So, do you like it? If one can only choose a like and dislike, that's definitely a like. I've watched this kid grow up. Smart with a clean background. Most importantly, he's not just an ordinary obsessed over you. If you like me, better hurry. Never thought Dad actualians to set me up with N. Only because we, Campbell have dwindling numbers. The biggest reason is that Theprants rarely see each other. Now, Dad has to go back in the trenches again. But I'm clearly stilling it to Cecilia. Dad also told me not to bother. That is precisely the King's drawing. The real intention is to have your family be his support system. To balance the power dynamics behind the crown prince. Even if the princess realitos marry into the family, we can let him scale up. In a nutshell, after 3 years, I want to hold my grandchild. But there is no but. This is the boss of house's order. So that's why, when Dad received the King's order and was dispatched to the front lines, when I was about to leave, he actually told me to hurry up and woo Maid Anne. Because he wants to have a grandchild within 3 years. After the carriage departed, Dad's griffin flapped its wings, following behind the car. Anne suddenly asked me. Just now, when the young master was speaking with the master, seems like my name was mentioned. Do you need me to do something? I scratched my head. Pondered for a moment. It's not that I can't say it. Father wants to set Thetwo of us up for marriage. Still expect us to have kids? Carry on the Campbell family line and all that. But this was merely a jest from the elderly gentleman. Don't take it to heart. I gently laid my hand on his shoulder. You are the most outstanding and most perfect daughter in our family. You'll definitely meet an outstanding man in the future. Not a loser like Thiziung Master here. Maid is Maraliar current role. In the future, we will eventually have our own lives. If there happens to be. If you like me, please do tell me. I will decide to let you leave. I will also prepare a lavish dowry for you. After all, people from our Campbell family. We can't let Thulthi look down on us. Be brave and pursue our own happiness. I and the entire Campbell family will always have your back. Having said that, I feel like I'm seriously handsome. Not for nothing have I been readignavals for over 10 years after all. A son as open-minded as me. And must be Moveto tears by now. But he had a look of utter disbelief. The young master actually let me leave the Campbell family. You sure are different from how you used to be. It seems like it all started exactly from that day. In that case, I can't wait any longer either. Alright, tonight then. Young Master Moon. You can't blame me. In the other part of Thaduk's residence, in the library, I've been here without realizing it until deep into the night. Because the primary goal now is still to become stronger. Dad's not here, so I just have to teach myself for now. He is truly worthy of being called the Grand Duke, who built his fortune from nothing in the arms industry. There are quite a few books regarding 5 grams. As for school, I won't be going for the time being. Avoid contact with the main party to prevent excessive risk. But tomorrow, I have to get Ann to quickly help me file for my suspension. The current plan is to justly low at home and grind it out. Then I closed the book. Just glanced through a couple of books casually. Didn't really look at the content, just to test the black book's abilities. When I opened the black book and flipped through it, just as expected, books that have been read can also be recorded in the blacklist. And just looking at the book title is enough. This feature is absolutely amazing. Holding this black book, I can't resist the urge to kiss it. Back when I said all those angry words about you being good for nothing. Don't take it to heart. I freaking adore you. Darling, this is the moment. And carried late night snack and walked into the room. Boss, you're still hitting the books, huh? You must be getting hungry, probably. That's a relief. Thanks for your trouble. Father suddenly took away so many people. Only you and Noel and the other 3 are left. Managing such a large duke's estate. And also need to take care of me. Young sir, this is my duty. As she spoke, Anne picked up a bottle. The reserve red wine delivered this morning by Erlock. It is said that his winery produces 100 bottles a year. On the market. The price has been jacked up to ASCII high 200,000 a year per bottle. Young sir, care to try some? As soon as I heard it was booze, I just refused. Because I'll read later. I don't want to fall asleep while watching. Why not have some coffee to perk up? Anne discovered that her plans weren't going smoothly. So she proactively filled a cup with black tea. I'm sorry, young master. For some reason, the drinks for tonight are only red wine and black tea. Is that so? Hold on, why does this sound so familiar to me? And began explaining to me. Due to the carelessness of a certain maid, caused the bag storing coffee beans to be gnawed through by rats. Sneaked quite a few off the new coffee beans. Have to go purchase it tomorrow morning. I suppose the young master will drink rat-gnawed coffee. I nodded. Forget it then. Black tea can also be refreshing anyway. I drank the black tea without any suspicion. As a result, the very next moment I regretted it. And unbelievably spiked the tea. After all, he is the most loyal person to me. As the cup crashed to the ground, my consciousness is gradually blurring. Anne, why did you betray? Before I could finish speaking, he passed out. And gently held me in their arms. Rest assured, boss. I will never betray you. Sleep easy. Yet gradually, Anne could no longer suppress her inner feelings. How heartbroken I am at this moment. I love you so much, but how could you say something like that? You've changed, so I can only cleanse you with my love. Please accept my love. Moon, young master, we will always be together, till the end of the world. I suddenly woke up with a start from a nightmare. Like a fish carelessly left in the shore by the waves. Gasping so laboriously. And one's own wrists and ankles, already tight like lamped by cold shackles. Who would have thought? The person from that prophytictrium back then turned out to be in. Young master, you finally woke up. Looks like that black market merchant didn't lie to me. This medicine really works well. I tugged at the shackles, angrily demanding words from him. What on earth are you trying to do? What to do? Could it be that you don't know, young sir? And abruptly knelt before me. When the young master was 8 years old. I already am the young master's personal maid. From that moment on. I live for you. I belong to you alone. And he can only be mine alone. Everything I'm doing now. It's all to get the young master back on the right track. What kind of proper way is this? I can't hear what you're saying. Why don't you let me go first? Let's talk this out properly. Anne extended a finger, signaled me to shut up. It's all too late. The young master doesn't need to do anything now. I've got this. From this day forward, sir, you from head to toe, from flesh to soul. Each strand of hair, every drop of blood, every wisp of scent, all will belong to me alone. Anne's dignified cheeks flushed red, like a bashful maiden confessing her love. Old man just wants to finally have a grandchildren as soon as possible. Actually had me marry the obedient and sweet maid at home. The maid spiked my black tea with sedatives. By the time I woke up, I'd already been imprisoned by him in the dungeon. He even subjected me to 18 forms of torture. I've only just come to realize, the female psycho in the precognitive dream is actually him. However, only thinking about jetting me back on my path, comes someone who belongs only to him. Oh, right when Dad received the King's commandant was dispatched to the front lines. When leaving, they actually told me to go after maid and right away. Because he wants to become a grandfather within 3 years. After the carriage departs, Father's griffin flapped its wings, following Anne behind the car. Suddenly asked me, when the young master and the master were talking just now. I think I heard my name. Do you need me to do something? I scratched my head a bit. Thought for a moment. It's not that I can't say. Father wants to arrange for the two of us to get married. Still want us to have babies. Expand the Campbell family tree and such. But he was just joking. Don't take it seriously. I gently rested my hand on Anne's shoulder. You are the most outstanding and perfect daughter in our family. In the future, you will definitely meet an excellent man. Rather than a young master loser like me. Maid is merely the role you are playing right now. In the future, we will eventually have our own lives. If there is someone I like, please be sure to tell me. I will take charge and let you leave. I will also prepare a lavish dowry for you. After all, people from our Campbell family can't let rich folks look down on us. Go ahead and bravely pursue your own happiness. Me and the Recample family. Always your rock-solid support. After saying this, I feel ridiculously handsome. All those years of novel reading weren't for nothing. A young master as broad-minded as me. Anne must be moved to tears, but he had a look of utter disbelief. Young master actually let me leave the Campbell family. You really are different from before. It seems like it all started from that day. Since that's the case, I can't wait any longer. Alright, tonight then. Moron. Mind you, sir, don't blame me. On the other side, in the library of the Duke's residence, I've stayed here until late at night without realizing it. Because the primary goal no still remains to get stronger. Dad isn't here. I'll just have to self-study for now. He truly lives up to being the self-made Grand Duke who rose through the arms industry. There are quite a few books in the subject of weaponry. And I won't be going to school for the time being. Avoid contact with the protagonisto, prevent posing undue risk. But I have to tomorrow. Let him quickly help me process my leave of absence. The current plan is to lilo and level up at home. Then I closed the book in my hands. I just glanced at a couple earlier. Barely looked at the content. Just wanted to confirm the Black Ledger's abilities. When I opened the black book and turned the pages, just as expected, books you've read can also have their reading records hacked. And just look at the title will do. This feature is so damn awesome. I was holding the black book and couldn't resist wanting to kiss it. Those hurtful things I said earlier about you being useless. Don't take it to heart. I'm crazy about you. Darling, right at this moment. Anne carried the midnight knack into the room. Young lord, still reading at this hour? You must be hungry by now. Well, I really appreciate your hard work. Father took so many with him at once. Only you and Nale's group of 4 are left, managing such a large duke's estate. Moreover, you still have to take care of me. Young master, this is what I ought to do. As she spoke, Anne picked up a bottle. Earl Locke's Reserve red wine delivered this morning. It said that his winery produces only 100 bottles per year. On the market, it has already been hyped up to ASCII high price of 200,000 a meal per bottle. Young master, would you like to give it a try? The moment I heard it was alcohol, I turned it down. Because I need to study later. I don't want to fall asleep while watching. Why don't we have some coffee to refresh ourselves? And discovered their plan wasn't going very well. So he voluntarily poured a full cup of black tea. Apologies, young master. For some reason, tonight's drinks are on layered wine and black tea. Is that so? Wait, why does this sound so familiar? On began to explain to me. Due to a certain maid's negligence, resulting in the bag storing coffee beans being chewed through by rats, sneakily tasted quite a few new coffee varieties. Have to go purchase it tomorrow morning. I suppose sir wouldn't drink coffee that's been chewed by mice either. I nodded. Oh, well, black tea can perk me up anyway. I unsuspectingly drank the black tea. Then the very next moment, I regret it. And actually spiked the tea. He is indeed the most loyal person to me. As the cup fell to the ground, my consciousness is beginning to fade. Anne, why did you betray? Before I could finish, she passed out and gently held me in her arms. Young master, you can rest easy. I'll never betray you. You can rest easy now. But gradually, Anne can no longer contain her heart. How heartbroken I am at this moment. I love you so much. But how could you say that kind of thing? You're not the same. So I can only use meow love to purify you. Please accept my love. Master Moon. We will be together forever. Until the world ends. I suddenly jolted awake from a nightmare. Like a fish accidental left on the shore by the waves. Painfully gasping. And my wrists and ankles are already tightly shackled by icy manacles. Never expected that the person from that prophetic dream would actually be in. Young master, you've finally awakened. Seems that black market merchant didn't deceive me. This medicine indeed works well. I rattled the shackles, furiously demanding of him. Anne, what exactly do you intend to do? What do I intend? Surely you already know, young master. And suddenly knelt before me. When you were 8 years old, I became your personal maid. From that moment, I existed solely for you. I belong only to you. And you, young master, must belong exclusively to me. Everything I'm doing now, all to bring the young master back to the right path. What right path? I don't understand a word you're saying. Why not release me first? Let's talk this through properly. And extends a finger, signaling me to shut up. It's all too late now. The young master need not do anything. Leave everything to me. From this day forth, every part of you, young master, from head to toe, from flesh to soul, every strand of hair, every drop of blood, every wisp of scent, will belong solely to me. A blush spreads across Anne's refined cheeks, like a bashful virgin confessing to her beloved. All because I misspoke once. The family maid actually imprisoned me. She even plans to possess me completely. Only now do I finally realize. She's the female pervert from my prophetic dreams. But how could I resign myself to spending life trapped here with her? And Uncle Hai remains the only key to changing my fate. So it turns out, just before father received the king's orders to depart for the frontier, he actually urged me to pursue Mi Guowen before leaving. Because he wants to hold his grandson within 3 years. After the carriage set off, father's griffin flapped its wings, following behind, and suddenly asked me. Earlier, when young master spoke with the Lord, my name seemed mentioned. Is there something you need me to accomplish? I scratched my head, pondering for a moment. Actually, it's not like I can't say it. Father wants to set us up for marriage. He even wants us to have children, to carry on the Campbell family line and such. But these are just the old man's jokes. You shouldn't take them seriously. I gently placed my hand on Anne's shoulder. You're the most outstanding, most perfect woman in our family. You'll surely meet an exceptional man someday. Not a worthless person like me, the young master. Being a maid is just your current role. Eventually, we'll each have our own lives. If you ever find someone you love, please do tell me. I'll personally grant you freedom and prepare lavish dowry gifts for you. After all, people who come from our Campbell family mustn't let wealthy households look down on them. Bravely pursue your own happiness. Both I and the entire Campbell family will be your strongest support. After saying this, I felt incredibly dashing. Those over 10 years of novel reading weren't wasted. With such an open-minded young master like me, N must be moved to tears right now. Yet he wore an expression of utter disbelief. The young master would actually release me from the camp. Bell family, you really have changed since before. It seems everything began from that day. Since things have come to this, I can't afford to wait any longer. Tonight will do. Young Master Moon, don't blame me. Meanwhile, in the Duke's mansion library, before I knew it, I'd stayed up late into the night here. Because becoming stronger remains my top priority now. With father away, I can only self-study for now. Truly worthy of a Grand Duke who built his empire from nothing through the arms industry. He owns quite a collection of books on weaponry. As for school, I'll skip it for the time being, to avoid major risks from interacting with the main storyline characters. Tomorrow, having quickly process my leave of absence. My current plan is to lie low and level up at home. Then I closed the book in my hands. I'd only skimmed 2 random volumes earlier, barely glancing at the content, just to confirm the black book's ability. When I opened the black book and flipped through it, everything happened as expected. Even books I merely glanced at were recorded by the black book. And all it took was looking at the titles. This feature is absolutely awesome. I couldn't resist kissing it. Those angry words before about you being useless, please don't take them to heart. I adore you to death, darling. Just then, and entered carrying a midnight snack. You're still reading at this hour, young master? You must be hungry. Thank goodness you're working so hard. Father took so many people away at once. Only you, Noel, and 3 others remain to manage this enormous ducal estate, while also caring for me. It's my duty, young master. As she spoke, and picked up a bottle, the rare vintage wine delivered by Count Locke this morning. It said his vineyard produces only 100 bottles annually. On the market, has already skyrocketed to an astronomical 200,000 emils per bottle. Would young master care to try some? I declined the moment I heard it was wine, since I planned to read later, and didn't want to doze off mid-page. Perhaps some coffee to stay alert instead? And realized their plan wasn't progressing smoothly, so proactively poured a full cup of black tea. Apologies, young master. Due to certain circumstances, tonight's beverages are limited to red wine and black tea. Is that so? Wait, why does this sound so familiar? And explain to me. That due to a certain maid's negligence, the bag storing coffee beans was gnawed through by rats, who stole quite a few fresh beans. We must restock tomorrow morning. Surely young master wouldn't drink rat-nibbled coffee? I nodded. Fine then, black tea should keep me awake anyway. I unsuspectingly drank the tea, only to regret it the very next second, and had actually drugged the tea. But they're my most loyal servant. As the cup clattered to the floor, my consciousness began blurring. Anne, why betray? Before I could finish, I passed out, and gently cradled me in their arms. Rest assured, young master, I could never betray you. Sleep peacefully now. But gradually, and could no longer suppress her feelings. How deeply it pains me at this moment. I love you so much. How could you possibly say such things? You've changed. So I must purify you with my own love. Accept my devotion. Young Master Moon, we'll be together forever, until the world ends. I suddenly jolted awake from the nightmare, like a fish accidentally stranded ashore by waves, gasping for breath with difficulty, while my wrists and ankles were already tightly shackled by icy manacles. Never imagined that person from my prophetic dream was actually Anne. Young master, you're finally awake. Seems that black market merchant didn't lie to me. This drug really works quite well. I rattled the shackles, demanding furiously, Anne, what exactly are you trying to do? Isn't it obvious, young master? And suddenly knelt before me. When young master was 8, I already became your personal maid. From that moment, I existed solely for you. I belong only to you. And young master can only belong to me. Everything I'm doing now is to bring young master back to the right path. What right path? I don't understand a word you're saying. Why not release me first? We can discuss this properly. And raised her finger, motioning me to shush. Everything is too late. Young master need not lift a finger now. Leave everything to me. From this day forth, every inch of you, young master, from flesh to soul, each strand of hair, every drop of blood, every wisp of scent, shall belong solely to me. And Duan Huang's cheeks flushed crimson, like a bashful maiden confessing to her beloved. This continued until noon the next day. Who could have predicted my 30-year journey as a grand mage would culminate in such graduation? Even less foreseeable was that the hidden instigator, who fueled the original host's descent into scum, and the woman sworn to carve me into 1,000 pieces in my prophetic dreams, would both turn out to be his very own. Anne, you needn't force yourself. Unshackle me. I think we can have a proper talk. But Anne suddenly raised her hand to cut me off. Compared to these 10 long years of waiting, this is nothing at all. All these years I've been protecting you, spoiling you, guiding you, making you grow arrogant, conceited, and ignorant, turning you into a spoiled brat everyone fears and despises. Young master, except for me, no one dares to truly approach you. You can't do anything without me. To make you belong only to me. For these 10 years, I've proved it every single moment. All for today. No matter what you say, I'll never let you go. My mind buzzed violently, blown into utter confusion by this sudden, shocking revelation. Who could have imagined that the most beautiful, gentlest, and most trusted maid in our household was actually a super crazy yandere? And according to the prophecy in the Black Book, I would ultimately die by Anne's hand. I barely avoided the exile plotline. How could I just die so easily now? I must find a way to escape. But the rattling shackles woke Anne. What are you trying to do, young master? Oh, Anne, you're awake. My hands just went numb. Wanted to stretch a bit. Anne gently went, oh. So it's already noon now. Well then, there's no choice. Though I'm reluctant to part with young master as well. Matters at the ducal manor still require attention. I shall take my leave for now. Otherwise, others might get suspicious. One more thing. Since young master now completely belongs to me, perhaps I should just eliminate everyone at the ducal manor. As the words left his mouth, my face twisted in horror. Such a thing must never happen. And turned his head, eyeing me curiously. Is young master so agitated? Because besides me, there's another woman at the manor who's caught your eye. Could it be that Nor girl? Absolutely not. Stop making wild guesses. I genuinely worried and might do something extreme. But he suddenly chuckled. I was merely teasing, young master. No need for alarm. As long as you behave obediently, I won't lay a finger on anyone at the ducal manor. So I begged him to remove my shackles first. You claim to adore me, yet you'd keep me pinned like this forever? He readily agreed, snapping his fingers. The shackles around my wrists and ankles clicked open. But he warned me not to entertain any escape plans, for this room's core structure is a vira-sealed chamber he crafted. Its locks were specially forged by master artisans to construct this hidden room, under his father's very nose, had consumed immense time and meticulous planning. And my sudden disappearance won't raise suspicion among the manor staff, and had already told them. I found staying alone at the manor too dull, so I left early for the academy. The maids weren't surprised by this. Then and placed my palm against his cheek. Rest assured, young master, I'll deliver all 3 meals to you promptly, except that the young master belongs entirely to me now. Everything remains as before. I'm still your most trusted personal maid. It caught me completely off guard. How quickly you've regained your spirit, truly worthy of being my beloved young master. Unfortunately, must leave now. While I'm away, please be a good boy and rest properly. Here, I'll return to play with you once I've handled matters. And, wait. At least return my clothes. As the door slammed shut and left the dungeon, I couldn't help but breathe a sigh of relief. Could I truly spend the rest of my life here, as his possession? But being punished like this constantly, even if the prophesied dead end doesn't occur, I'll probably be close to death anyway. Most importantly, there's the matter of freedom. Life without freedom would be unbearably dull. In any case, escaping this place is now the most urgent matter. The iron-barred door seems the only exit, but even using all my strength, there's no way to open the door either. Thought about trying to force it open. Ended up hurting myself like hell from that attempt. Just as in said, solid steel construction. Even the walls behind the rock are pure steel. Thought having Uncle High as a super cheat could defy fate. Now, we're truly screwed. Never expected Uncle High to materialize out of thin air. Bro, I didn't even call for you. Don't mess with me at a time like this. That metal manipulation trick isn't regular magic. He's clearly a divine champion, on par with Cilicia. Entering the training space now is too late to get stronger. But after some thought, I decided to practice casually anyway. Better to relax inside and get killed a few times than stay in this suffocating space. Then I suddenly found last night's book, and my spirits soared. I discovered the formula for victory. Just how far would the love of a Yandir maid go? Not only did she lock me in the dungeon and punish me severely, she also fed me delicious meals daily, even risking her life to hunt an overlord-class magical beast. When I craved fish, turns out and noticed my good behavior these days, and offered one small favor, choosing lunch and dinner menus daily. I sighed, but it's better than nothing. Has the young master decided what to eat? I didn't answer immediately. Instead, I started playing coy, seeing that autumn is almost here. Around this time in previous years, I'd already be boating on Lake Baikal, admiring the beauty of falling autumn leaves, while sipping wine from Count Locke's estate, savoring freshly caught autumn fish, and inferred from my words that I wanted Lake Baikal fish. But Lake Baikal is so far away. If we have the fish delivered, I fear it won't be fresh. Seeing his troubled expression, I launched into an Oscar-worthy performance. How dashing! I was on the lake last year. Yet now, I'm confined to this tiny prison, awaiting death's arrival. What sorrow! How pitiful! If I can't even taste Lake Baikal fish, what meaning does this life hold? I might as well die and end it once and for all. Young master, reckon I felt a pang of heartache. He hesitated to speak, finally sighed deeply. I understand. I'll get the fish. Even if it costs everything, I'll have fresh Baikal fish delivered for you. I stopped wailing immediately, and blew a sweet flying kiss. Then do your best. I'll wait for you at home. And stood both startled and delighted. Cheeks instantly turned bright red. Before I could react, he suddenly hugged me, expressing his deep affection for me. 2.5 minutes later, he turned to leave. Before departing, he added with concern, "The journey to Lake Baikal is long. I'll return before noon tomorrow. Please endure patiently, young master." After leaving the dungeon, Angson thought she'd almost lost control just now. The young master truly is the world's most adorable. Must catch the fish quickly. That way, when I return, I'll have more time to properly cherish the young master. Finally, I breathed a long sigh of relief. Finally managed to fool him into leaving. Fortunately found the key to turn the tables. Then I summoned my precious black book. Except for that assassin. You can create other simulation spaces, right? He nodded, meaning affirmation. So I had him base it on that book I read earlier. Create a trial space with 1000 locks for me. I must master that god-tier ability to max level. Before and returns, even while being pampered daily by beauties, I still possess a heart yearning for freedom. Meanwhile, at the Biboer Lake border, storm clouds gathered overhead. Lightning flashed with thunderous roars. A scruffy bearded man nagged incessantly at N. Madam, I told you, this area is off limits. Biboer Lake is extremely dangerous now, and furrowed her willow leaf brows, asking what happened. But the man grew impatient, reaching out to strike N. This isn't your concern. Get lost now. A flicker of killing intent flashed in N's eyes. Her 5 fingers abruptly clenched. Spikes instantly impaled the man's hand. His face contorted in agony, emitted a blood-curdling scream. I detest being touched by anyone but young master. Consider this a minor warning. Obstruct me again. I'll dismember you piece by piece, and feed your remains to the fish. Now, explain what's happening here. Terror filled the man's expression. You crazy woman. Won't stop you if you seek death. Biboer's Lake Lord has awakened. The Adventurers Guild. Confirmed. It's an Overlord-class magical beast. Right now they've sent a B-rank adventurer team to exterminate it. That's why Bieber Lake is sealed. So it's an Overlord-class magic beast. No wonder the weather's acting strange here. After explaining the situation, the man urged in again. You're the one who stabbed me. Leave 300 a meal for treatment. And I'll let it slide. If you disturb the adventurer team, things won't end well for you. And ignored him, instead throwing a pouch of Emil on the ground. Then walking toward the lake. Confusion filled the man's eyes. Knowing danger lies ahead, yet still going. What could possibly make you so determined? For what reason? Expecting no answer. And suddenly turned back, wearing a blissfully tender smile. It's obviously for love. Meanwhile, adventurer Aluka was spacing out, thinking she'd confess to her crush after this mission. However, her thoughts were cut short by a teammate's shout. Aluka, stop daydreaming. Heal us now. We can't hold much longer. She hastily cast healing magic on her teammates, chanting spell incantations. Rod and Dia stared tensely at the lake. After all those spells we hit it with. This bastard's finally surfacing. A massive splash erupted across the water's surface. A huge black fish leapt out from the bottom of the lake, covered entirely in cold iron scales and ferocious bone spikes, its head encased in hardened exoskeleton, exuding a chillingly unique beauty. This was none other than the Lord of Lake Bieber. I merely mentioned that I craved fish, yet the Yandir maid planted a kiss on me, and even risked her life to hunt a shark for me. One must understand, this monstrosity could wipe out an elite adventurer squad. And all this stemmed from the maid's devotion to me. For just as the Lord of Lake Bieber emerged, this terrifying beast gathered a magical sphere in its maw, taking aim at Rod below. And Rod bore the title of Ironblood Knight. He became a B-rank genius adventurer in just 3 short years. After his shield blocked the Lake Lord's attack, he commanded his teammates, quick, use magic attacks. Aluka snapped out of her thoughts, floating her wand before her. She began chanting the spell, God of Ice and Snow. Before she could finish, Dia beside her unleashed explosion magic first. Blazing flame struck the Lake Lord's gaping maw. Rod, now, seizing this rare opportunity, Rod charged toward the Lake Lord. Leaping at the last moment, he plunged his longsword deep into the beast's skull. The fearsome overlord-class magical beast finally ceased struggling. Rod yanked out his sword and leapt ashore, letting the lake lord sink beneath the waves. Gasping for breath on the ground, he thought, finally, it's over, then turned and gave Dia a thumbs up. Done and dusted. Nice work, mage girl. Dia smiled, asking with concern, you're not hurt, are you? All good. Lucky you restrained it in time. Don't move. Your mouth split open, see? Second, you're surprisingly gentle. Glad to have you as my teammate. Watching them being all Aluka felt like thin air, heart aching terribly. Why did we promise to become the ultimate adventuring duo when we grew up? We'll be together forever. I tried so hard to chase after you, but your eyes never held me. I was the one who first entered your world. Yet in the end, I don't even qualify as a supporting role. You turned and fell for someone else in an instant. Originally, Aruka had secretly admired Rod for 8 years. But she never found the courage to confess. She planned to confess after the mission ended. Never imagined it would come to this. Rod, currently enjoying the bandagging services of a beauty, suddenly turned his head toward Aruka. What are you spacing out for? Get over here and help dissect the Lake Lord's corpse. Aruka steadied her troubled emotions. Forcing a faint smile, she approached. But just then, he heard a strange sound from the water. Simultaneously, Rod and Tia heard it too. All turned their gaze toward the lake surface. A sense of foreboding rose in their hearts. The sound grew closer. Immediately after, the lake water surged into a wave over 10 meters high. A pitch-black silhouette enveloped everyone. Expressions of utter disbelief covered every face. A colossal shark erupted from the depths. Crimson eyes burned with rage. This was the true lord of Lake Bor. Dr. The third-rank mage launched an attack instantly. Yet this time, his explosion magic failed to pierce the Lake Lord's defenses. It was like scratching an itch. The Lake Master suddenly revealed a hint of human-like mockery. Above his head, terrifying energy began gathering around his red antennae. The next instant, crimson lightning blasted toward Rod and the others. Amid earth-shaking booms, Aluka tightly embraced Rod, who'd been sent flying. But Rod ordered her to flee immediately, for this monster was beyond their capability to handle. Seeing Tia knocked unconscious ahead, Rod's sole thought was rushing to protect her. Even if death awaited as the final outcome, he'd stay by her side. Watching Rod sprint toward Tia, Aluka felt as if a knife stabbed her heart. Meanwhile, everything unfolding here was silently witnessed not far away. So this was the Overlord-class monster Bapole, murmured the Lake Master. He raised his hand, conjuring a massive, ferocious scythe with magic, his eyes brimming with disdain. If Overlord-class monsters possessed only this much strength, that young master wouldn't need long to obtain the dragon treasure. Outwardly a dutiful, gentle older sister maid, yet secretly an utterly obsessive lover. Even if mistakes occurred, she'd imprison her beloved young master to dote on him. To procure fresh fish for the young master, she not only single-struck an Overlord-class magical beast, but also sought fish cooking advice from a love-struck girl, incidentally resolving the girl's romantic troubles. Little did she know, the girl is also about to become the next Yandir. It turns out Rhodes was running towards Dr's direction. He pulled out a massive scythe, ready to slay the Lake Lord. Crimson lightning gathered on the Lake Lord's horn. Rhodes already held the unconscious Dia in his arms. Amid death's approaching footsteps, his actions seemed so ridiculous. At the critical moment, Anne timely cast defensive magic for rescue. A terrifying energy blast struck the Lake Lord. Hearing the commotion, Rhodes snapped his eyes open. The scene unfolding before him filled him with utter disbelief. The Lake Lord was actually blocked by a metal barrier. No matter how fiercely it charged, the barrier wouldn't shatter. Aluka's face also showed complete shock. The Lake Lord's attack had been stopped. Learning he was unharmed and instructed, "I'll kill that fiend next. Protect yourself." Aluka nodded numbly. "All right," immediately, and raised her hand to cast offensive magic. Countless weapons materialized behind her, undulating like swimming snakes. Aluka gasped in astonishment. What kind of magic is this? Even iron weapons turn liquid? The weapons coalesced into sharp spikes that shot toward the Lake Lord. Agonized roars erupted from the beast. Anne gripped her colossal scythe, ascending steel steps. As she advanced step by step toward the Lake Lord, "You've been shrieking non-stop since earlier. The fish I brought for the young master have all been scared away by you. You'll pay for this crime with your life." In Anne's hands, a scythe rose high, like the grim reaper descending. With one stroke, she ended the Lake Lord's life. Its corpse crashed thunderously into the water, sending smaller fish splashing out of the lake. Rod couldn't believe an overlord-level magical beast was instantly killed. Aluka immediately rushed to her two teammates. Fortunately, Rod was unharmed. He produced a healing potion, preparing to treat Dia's severe injuries. Simultaneously, he asked Aluka to approach her. That lady slew an overlord-level monster in one strike. And with that incredible magic, if she joined our party, our strength would skyrocket. We'd never face such desperate situations again. Please sound out her intentions. Meanwhile, Anne stood conflicted at the shore, gripping a different fish species in each hand. Last year, the fisherman handled everything from catching to serving the fish. "I truly don't know which kind the young master prefers," and sighed softly. To make such an amateurish mistake, as the young master's personal maid, this is utterly disgraceful. Just then, Aluka's voice interrupted her thoughts. "Excuse me, ma'am. These two fish you're holding, both are inedible species. This crimson one has tough flesh. The brightly colored one with the strong fishy smell is highly poisonous. Those two in front to your left are fine. These are very famous fish from Lake Belpoer. Do you know much about fish?" So Aluka's village is right across the lake. Every autumn, she comes with her family to catch this fish. Many noble lords and ladies adore the fish from this lake, so they always fetch a good price. Then Anne asked her how to cook this fish. They chatted for about 10 minutes, and pulled out the little notebook she carried with her, and wrote down the methods for charcoal grilling and steaming. She thanked Aluka. Aluka scratched her cheek. "No need for thanks. Compared to you saving us from the Lake Lord, this is nothing at all. By the way, Miss Anne, are you doing all this for someone you like?" "Yes, my beloved wants to eat the fish here. That's why I came." Aluka looked wistful. Being able to offer your feelings to someone dear, your beloved must be incredibly happy. And recalled recent events. Then she stood and lifted a bucket. "He is happy. And once he fully understands the depth of my love," just as Anne prepared to leave, Aluka suddenly asked nervously, "Miss Anne, wait please. I have a question about love. A seasoned professional like you. Want to vent a little?" And thinks, there are no fixed answers to matters of the heart in this world. But as thanks for teaching him cooking, he'll try to share insights based on his own experiences to help Aluka out. Aluka says she has a good friend who's liked a guy for a very long time, but she doesn't know if he feels the same way, because he's particularly dense and treats everyone with great kindness, and immediately recognizes this as a radiant personality type, warming everyone equally. Aluka's friend plans to confess her feelings, but suddenly another woman appears, clearly forming a love triangle. Lately that friend's been wavering, because he likes that person. Clearly, he treats the newly appeared woman a bit better, so he's considering whether to give up. After all, those two are mutually attracted. Would it be inappropriate for me, as the third party, to disturb him? I understood his troubles, So I straightforwardly asked Miss Iruka, "How much do you like that man?" Iruka initially tried to deny it wasn't her, but ultimately chose to tell the truth. "I've liked him for over 10 years. Enough to willingly give your life for him?" "Of course, not just my life. I'd do anything for him. Even things society condemns." Hearing Iruka's unhesitating answer, and silently put on her hat, "Haven't you already found your answer now? If your love for him runs this deep, there's no need to ask me anymore." Iruka murmured in confusion. "Miss N, you mean, you just need to follow your heart's true feelings. Devote everything to the one you love. Don't make choices you'll regret. This is my humble suggestion for the predicament you're currently in. Miss Iruka, good luck." I merely choked on a fishbone, but the yandere maid crawled toward me like a kitten. I went to kiss the young master. "With my lung capacity, I'll suck that fishbone out for you." I thought the other party was just joking, but the next second, the maid pinned me down and forcibly kissed me. She even has to follow my father's orders to make us grandparents sooner. It turns out that after Iruka consulted N about matters of love, watching N's departing figure, Iruka recalled his earlier words. "Give everything for the one you love. Follow your heart's true desires." Suddenly, a wicked flame ignited within her. The demon inside questioned her. "Iruka, are you truly going to give up?" At that moment, she froze in place, her entire body burning with fire, feeling excruciating pain. The demon continued, "You'd abandon morality laws, even your very life. You'd sacrifice everything for him. Do you truly wish to let them be together?" "No, I could never accept this. If Rod ends up with anyone but me, I'll go completely insane. Especially that bitch Tia. She'd better die quickly." While responding to the demon, Iruka shed tears of anguish. The demon's flames rose before her. "So you finally understand. Go forth, Iruka. Obey your deepest desires. Conquer, possess, brand your mark upon him. Make him yours alone." But Rod's power is formidable. Iruka didn't know how to act. The demon began to instruct him on what to do. "Don't worry, child. I shall bestow my power upon you. The great power known as absolute love." Rod noticed something was off about Iruka's condition. He asked with concern if she was all right. Why had she suddenly fallen earlier? "Did that woman do something to you?" Iruka explained her magic was depleted. She was just a bit tired. Besides, Missin is a maid from a noble household. She can't join our adventuring party. Rod felt slightly disappointed hearing this. Pity she's already left. I didn't even get to thank her in person. Just then, the observant Dia noticed an injury on Iruka's chest. Iruka froze momentarily, because a mysterious red mark had inexplicably appeared there. She hastily covered it with her clothes, saying it was just a burn from the Lake Lord's lightning earlier. "It's nothing serious. Also, there might be a third Fox Lord around here. We need to report back to the guild immediately." Dia's injuries need treatment too. Rod saw the logic in this. He promptly scooped Dia up in a princess carry, planning to find a place to rest. Dia's face flushed crimson, demanding Rod put him down. He could walk by himself, but Rod dismissed it as Dia being stubborn. With how light he is, carrying him all day wouldn't be a problem. "Are you an idiot? This isn't about whether it's heavy or not. All right. You got hurt saving me after all. I've told you before. You could rely on me more." Watching the two chatting and laughing behind us the whole time, Iruka's eyes burned with murderous intent. Intense jealousy had long corrupted her. At noon the next day, hearing the sound of the dungeon door being opened, I slowly opened my eyes and woke. Anne walked in carrying a tray. "Young master, back. Did you miss me?" I cried out in overwhelming joy. "Anne, you've finally returned. If I hadn't seen you again, I'd have starved to death." Anne tilted her head in confusion, reaching out to touch my face. Has the young master been moved by me? Willing to entrust his entire being to me? I turned my head away angrily. Not at all. You've been gone a full day and night. If you hadn't returned soon, I would have starved. And hastily placed the tray on her lap. Apologies, young master, since Lake Baikal is so far from here. To ensure you'd have the freshest fish, I rushed back as fast as I could. As she spoke and lifted the lid, an intoxicating aroma instantly filled the tiny cell. The fish you requested, young master. Seeing me practically drooling with anticipation, Anne asked whether I preferred steamed or charcoal grilled first. I'd like to try the steamed. She gently lifted a spoonful of fish meat. Want to feed me personally? The fish meat was delivered into my mouth. The tender texture stimulated the nerves in my mouth. I couldn't help exclaiming, "This fish is truly delicious. Anne, come try some quickly." But Anne refused, saying it was specially prepared for the young master. By the way, I heard this type of fish has many bones. Young master, be careful of fish bones when eating. I know. I'm not a child. How could I before finishing my sentence? I got a fish bone stuck in my throat. The atmosphere fell into brief silence, seeing me clutching my neck with discomfort, and crawled over like a kitten. Wait, what are you trying to do? I want to kiss the young master. Didn't you just say a fish bone was stuck? While kissing, I'll pinch your nose and inhale. With my lung capacity, I can quickly suck the bone out for you. My eyes widened in shock. Kissing can suck out fish bones? Are you joking? But the next second, and lunged straight at me.